So, what is anxiety? Well, the way I boil it down for my clients is anxiety is the fear of an uncertain future. And let's look at the science of anxiety a bit closer because that little snippet sentence doesn't give us the full picture that we're going to want if we're going to talk about this in an earnest way. So, uh, psychology breaks down anxiety into two kinds. The first is called pathological anxiety, right? It's pathology. And essentially, it's anxiety that makes you react like you're being persecuted. It's a fear of annihilation. The world doesn't make any sense. So you start to deny your reality. You detach pathologically and you engage in this cognitive dissonance where, like, the world doesn't make sense. So you just reject the world and that feeling of like, otherwise, just I am going to be over. There's no self. So that's type one. Type two anxiety, the second kind, is based in loss, in fear, in grief, but you don't detach from reality. You cope. And maybe you cope in ways that aren't necessarily helpful, right? Like being self critical, being negative. Maybe you lash out at things, you become emotionally reactive. And one of my favorite phrases for this type of reaction is saying that, you think is going from 0 to 60, right? Like something happens, you stub your toe and you start crying, right? Oh, that person went from 0 to 60. So one of my favorite quotes about this is when you think that someone is going from 0 to 60, they were actually at 59, right? So that kind of anxiety where you're really reactive is that you're already overstimulated, you're already afraid, you're already anxious, and then something happens and it's just straw that broke the camel's back, right? So that's the type of anxiety we're talking about. And this summer, it has seemed to me like everyone is just on edge.